Blurp.
It's always something.
All right, restart. We're back. We're restarting. Okay, back to me. Hey, it's the Trent Knox Show. Welcome to the show. We're going to do a real quick speed thing. You probably heard no audio, but I'm probably going to cut that out. Welcome to the show. Mammoth, the legend, Knives Monroe.
Hey, Trent. Is this live?
This is not live.
I mean, you could go live if you wanted
I could
to.
go live if I wanted to.
Okay.
But I'm a little bit... I was too scared to do it. And I just decided way before you got here that it was going to be,
Yeah.
just like...
That's okay.
Do it this way.
Yeah, absolutely.
One-man band.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, man. This podcast studio is sick.
Yeah. I'm trying to be the next Rogan, as they say.
Man, you want to skip all the way. You want to skip all the steps and just jump straight to Rogan.
Nah, if I could just be a scuffed version, that'd be fine.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more difficult than I thought to build a studio. It's, this is not even where it is to where it's like super polished, but it's running, it's operating.
Fuck yeah.
There you go.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway, before the audio didn't record, here's the Mammoth legend. First thing we were talking about, you've been doing a lot of recording. You've been doing a lot of podcasts. You've been doing, well, not a lot of podcasts, but a lot of productions and 48 hours and whatnot. So
Sure.
What's new?
Oh, man. A lot of stuff is new emotionally, mentally, cognitively. My relationship with myself, a lot of stuff is new. This has been the year of clarity. I wrote a video about this, and I meant to record it today, but I got swamped. I'm going to try to record it when I get back home. And it's about this recurring theme of mental health and content creation, which is always a recurring motif with me. But to answer your question, these past 12, 15 months, shot and edited like 3 films. That's pretty cool because I was out of the game. I was effectively retired for a long time. And my friend JR, shout out to him, moved from New York to Austin essentially to make movies with me. That's a lot of pressure. And we just wrapped a production called Kingman Stables about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. And I've seen a cut, and I'll show it to you. Don't tell anybody. But it's delightful. It is delightful. It's just so fun. We're going to do a test screening in Houston next week and to get some feedback, hand out some flyers, really do it like Marvel style, try to get some feedback. And it feels good to be back. I wrote a short film too, which I'll send that to you. It's probably not your bag because I'm crazy. Like my scripts, I don't even know if you've ever read one of my scripts before. But I'm a nutbag. And so it's just nice to shake the rust off, And speaking of that, production-wise, I've been doing some free work, a la Alex Hormozy style. Like I just think it's like the right thing to do right now. There's a marketing reason for it, of course, but Gary Vaynerchuk talks about give, 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 ask. Alex Hormozy says give, 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 get. You don't even need to ask. So I'm going to test that theory. I've been doing a lot of free work, free productions as well, and this Saturday I'm filming something. I believe it's in Pflugerville. I have to double check on that, and that's for free too. So just trying to get my name out there, build some content. And just do what brought me to the dance and how we met in the first place. Just do more of that.
What's like most inspiring right now as far as film? What's anything that's unique or influencing you at all?
At the risk of sounding like a douchebag, like sounding the way I look, what's been inspiring me is my old shit. Watching my old YouTube videos and seeing my portfolio and just how far I've come, and watching old stuff when I used to make content on like the cheapest gear. Our phones nowadays are just so much better than what I used to make stuff on 5 years ago, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. So I've been watching some old shit, and that's really been inspiring me. Like I forgot how good I was at this. And 5, 6 years ago, man, I put down the sword like right before we met, or maybe like right after we met, maybe like a couple months after we met. Right around the Pipe Dream era, I put the sword down, like what brought me to the dance. And I thought I had to build something different, a new weapon. But it was the sword that got me there. And so I'm going back to what brought me to the dance and just making some dope shit again. So you probably asked me like what was inspiring insofar as like the movies that are out right now. Maybe that's what you meant. But it's my old shit that's really inspiring me.
I mean, to be kind of like, personal, I wish you would come with like someone local. You know what I mean?
What
like,
does that mean?
Like someone, someone in the indie filmmaking game that's really like inspiring you. You know what I mean? Like, because you're in the game and you're networking and whatnot, and you see something unique and diverse, not the box office indie films and not the, the Sundances or whatever's coming out of the film festival, but like somebody who's a young kid that's like,
I don't know.
Like me, like when you first saw me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I hope I inspired you to do more podcasts or be out of your
there
shell.
are some kids on TikTok that are amazing because they're so fearless. That does inspire me. Like, I try not to consume so much. Like, I am reading / listening to Hormozi's recent book, $100 Million Leads, but not to siphon inspiration, but just to get information. But I used to be the guy that like went to different artists, indie artists, and tried to siphon all the inspiration that I could get. And my cup runneth over, like with inspiration. Mm-hmm. I've read the books, I've seen the movies, I've met the young bucks. Like I'm inspired, but inspiration's not enough. Like to make a thing, it's not enough. It ain't gas. You need gas. So, not to rebel against the question, but that's why going back to my old shit, like, is inspiring in a good way, because it's like I can deconstruct that and say, how did I do that? How did I have the balls to do that? It goes back to the balls, the guts of making something, contributing a verse, as they say. So, I appreciate the young bucks, and I see a lot of hot, amazing talent here in Austin and globally. But it's like hat tip to them. I don't need to rip them off. I don't need to take from them, I think 16-year-old me would be like, how can I rip them off? And how can I steal from them? Because good artists copy, great artists steal. And I don't care about that. Like, I don't want to rip off someone's style. I don't want to be the next Casey Neistat. I just want to go back to being Knives Monroe.
Yeah, I mean, before this, I don't know if it got on the podcast, but like, even I was joking about being the next Joe Rogan or stealing style.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that component, but I feel like people just imitate, regardless, and whether you choose to or you don't choose not to. But you mentioned gas, though. I think you meant that in the term like,
fuel.
Yeah, but almost like you have the gall to do something. Mm-hmm. You have the spirit and different things like that. But like, what are the resources that go into it? Some of it's money, some of it's time, some of it's skill. Like, do you feel like you're better than you were ever before? You think this is the best you've ever been?
Great question. No. And I'll tell you why. Because I have the resources, but what I'm missing, which is far more valuable than resources, is the resourcefulness. I was a resourceful motherfucker 5, 6, 7 years ago. Like, I had nothing, but I still found a way. Now I have everything, and I'm like, what do I do? You're plagued by options. You're plagued by the infinitude of choices. And it's like if the sandbox is too big, you don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. Like, I never finished Red Dead Redemption 2 because how do you start this? Where do you go? Like, I probably completed 1% of Red Dead Redemption 2. And it's just too vast, right? I need something small to let my imagination run wild. So it's all about resourcefulness. And that's something that like 2018 Knives would have told you. Resourcefulness is more important than the resources that you have. Your hunger is more valuable than your tech. I understand that.
Oh, man, you're hitting me because I was just thinking like where I started to where I'm at today, like talking about amateur to pros, because like that was that was the one angle, and now there's two angles, close up for you to give you, the shine that you deserve as a guest.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always wanted that, but I also didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. So what do you know now that you didn't know that?
One thing, if we had a producer, I have always liked I'm gonna answer your question, but I've always liked like the Breakfast Club style, where it's like a dude with the handheld camera.
Oh yeah, that one's also dope. Yeah,
I like that.
Logan Paul does that too.
But they have
And
multicam.
they whip.
They do whip.
They do this whip camera.
But they have
thing,
multicam there. There's multiple
Yeah.
coverage all over the place. But I like the Breakfast Club single handheld cam.
Oh, actually, they kind of changed up because Logan Paul doesn't have that studio anymore.
You're talking about impulsive.
Impulsive.
What
yeah.
was your question? Because I didn't answer it.
Oh, you only know what you know. How do you say it? How do you say? You don't know what you don't know. So what do you know now that you didn't know then? And hindsight's 20/20.
Fuck, dude, that's too big. I don't
There's
even
got to be something that you wish you had done differently that you know now. I mean, you say resourcefulness back then, but would you have even known how to deploy it?
Bro, like 5-6 years ago, 2017 more specifically, however long ago that was. I can't do the math for some reason. How long ago was that? 6 years?
-3.
You see, I can't do it either.
Wait, what did you say?
2017.
Oh, 6 years.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
To the day almost. I was a hungry kid, and I had nothing but like shit to prove.
Mm-hmm.
And content was sustenance for me. Like, it's how I ate, even though it didn't feed me. Like, I was at my lowest point making the most content. And now, like, what would have happened if I never stopped? I would have been fucking on Logan Paul's show, you know? Like, I would have been on Rogan, you know, based on my clout and my energy. I believe that. Like, I know it's delusional. I know it's delusional. I know it sounds like, what?
His latest episode with the Oliver...
Who's?
The Rogan's latest episode with the guy, North from Richmond.
I haven't seen it.
You've heard the song, right, though?
Oh, that's like brand new.
It's brand new, but he went
like
viral, and then he gets onto the show. You know?
That's sick.
Gets platform.
Sure.
Right.
But I think I would have made my own platform and then, like, really just skyrocketed, taken off, if that's a word, during the pandemic, man, if I stayed the course.
I think it's true. If you were 2 years younger than you are, then maybe not.
Age has nothing to do with it. Like,
well, yeah, Mr. Beast, I mean, he's a younger cat.
His whole class are young cats.
Yeah.
And they're, the Trahans and the fucking, I don't even know all them, you know, like they're on another level, so they're crushing it. But to answer your question, like, I wish I could just go back to 2017 and tell Knives, don't stop. I don't care how busy you get. Don't fucking stop and document your journey.
Yeah.
Like, that will be priceless. And keep journaling, Knives, like, because I stopped journaling. Like, my journal goes from 2017 to 2019 to 2023. Like, it's embarrassing. I used to journal every day. And I just, stay the course, and, like, every time I accomplished a goal, make a new one immediately. And wake up in the morning and fucking focus on that. Like, I got comfortable, man. I can't believe it happened to me. Like, it's so
I hope that
embarrassing.
2 weeks from now you're not back in the mood that you were before you started back in the podcasting thing, where you said you didn't know what to talk about.
It's funny, dude. This might be the bipolar talking, but some days I feel crazy. Some days I feel lazy. But some days I'm like, I never want to podcast again. And then some days I'm like, I want to go daily again. So I don't know, man. Like,
yeah.
My most recent pendulum swing has been, I want to go daily again. I really do. Just talk in front of the camera, talk in front of the microphone, live and let live, what fucking ever. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
I don't want to overproduce something. I don't want to be fancy. I don't want to be cute. And I just want to go. And that's therapeutic for me, It's just, it's a lot of work. Like, the fancier you get, the slower you get. And there's something to be said for speed and consistency and showing up. Like, I've been writing about this. If there's too much friction, too much resistance, you're less inclined to show up and make stuff.
Yeah.
But if it's just turnkey and you just go, you can show up and get shit done. And that's actually valuable, is getting shit done.
Yeah, I think that just kind of personalizing that, thinking back to the early Austin Live and Local days, and daze, the D-A-Z-E of it. The punk or the like cool thing about it was, you know, I didn't know anyone, and my whole thing was, let's do this to meet people. Let's get together. I see that there's like a thing about local artists not getting their fair share or whatever it is, or just whatever it is. I didn't know at the time. Now I know more, like that it's the game. You're not signed to Live Nation. You're not getting, onto the stages like ACL or the Moody Theater or any of those places, right? You gotta be a part of the in crowd.
It's crazy. Like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're totally right. But if I was an artist, all I would do is just focus on making a viral hook on TikTok. And you could get 1 million streams with that and get platformed, And that's like the new radio. That's just the way to do it, I think.
Yeah, I mean...
It's never been easier. I've always said this with you, especially. Like, I think about the last 25 years...
Right.
This point in time, this window,
yeah,
is the easiest time to make it.
I think the thing is that, like, that's true if you're unique, but if you're just a industry plant, or somebody who's gonna be packaged and put on, right? Then it's not true, because there's an expiration date. It's like cheese on the shelf or anything else. Like, who's a good... I mean, I don't want to say Britney Spears, but that's the thing that came to mind. It's like, her tenure was for a long time,
She was also a child star, on the Disney, on Disney, whatever it was.
Mickey Mouse Club.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know how she was a plant.
Well, she didn't reap the benefits of if you were unique and you had everything and you owned your own masters and all this stuff. And I guess Taylor Swift is one of those people who does. But there are a bunch of like B tier musicians that are the ones that they talk about getting shelved, and the ones that they talk about being the opening acts and stuff like that. That they just they dispense of them when they're no longer useful to them. They can still make music, but their music's not selling like Drake, or like the big time artists that differentiate beyond, the being. We've talked about the like working class, artist, and like the discovery of that. So if you're really unique, you pop off on TikTok, you're not working class, you're above and beyond, right?
Oh, man, dude. I'm just going to say it. Like, we both know Josh Terry, who has 1.3 million followers on TikTok.
Right.
It's really easy, if you didn't know him, to think he's fucking a millionaire.
Right.
And he's rich, and he's platformed, and he's got it.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's not a millionaire. You know what I mean? Last I checked.
It's interesting.
So, but it looks like it. Wow, he had a viral TikTok, and so he's made it.
Well, another person we could juxtapose him against is like Corey ASMR, who we don't know personally.
We don't know him, but he's not a millionaire.
No, but maybe it's the way that you do your distribution. It's the way that you maybe Josh is just not packaging his business the way that Corey is, and Corey's just doing better because he packages it better.
I think what's more so to the point that I find it more interesting anyways is you don't have to be Drake to be successful anymore. You can be Corey ASMR and make a business and do well.
Yeah.
That's fucking dope. He's not a household name, maybe he will be. I don't know what his goals are. But whatever he's doing right now in this moment in time is working.
Yeah,
if he keeps showing up, like he'll make a living.
Yeah,
he'll go to Ibiza and put his feet up.
Yeah, but we don't get in it. Are we getting into it for the money? I don't think so. I think we're getting into it for the notoriety, the recognition, your name being in the conversation with those guys,
So this goes back to, I like what you said there. This goes back to what I would tell Knives 6 years ago. I would tell him, you don't need the validation. Let it go from peers. You don't need that. Fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in it for the money because you're going to achieve, the biggest payday I think I ever got in this game was like a $30,000 payday. Split in half, like paid half up front, half at the end of the gig. I was just telling Claire this yesterday. I was like, hey, do you remember when we got that notification that second half went through and just the exhilaration of that? And I was like, I want that again. Mm-hmm. But even having said that, like, it ain't about that. I ain't chasing that rush, like about the money. For me, it's about, and I think I've told you this, I want to change the way people see shit. There's a lot of art that I've seen in my life that, like, I can't go back to how it used to be. Like the first time I saw Reservoir Dogs or like Pulp Fiction, I was like, oh my God, like, I want to do that. The first time I heard College Dropout, I was like, oh my God, like, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I want to make that kind of shit. I'm not saying I want to be Kanye or whatever, but like,
oh, dead naming.
I don't want to be Ye.
I got in trouble for that.
Bring it on.
Which part of that I got in trouble for, I'm not sure, but
yeah, go figure. I don't want to be Casey Neistat, like I said earlier, but like, Casey changed the game forever, and I want to do that. Like, not for the ego, but just because that's just my mark. I just want to make a mark, That's why, that's what turned me on to begin with, and I want to make a mark, not even for legacy sake, not even so I could be high. It's not an ego thing. It's just to give the future artists different colors to use. Fuck yeah. Because I stand on the shoulder of giants, so it's not a money thing. It's not a clout thing. I can't speak for Josh and I can't speak for Corey. I talk to Corey, and I don't mind saying this. He'll never see this, but I don't mind saying that. Like, I asked him, dude, how'd you fall into your niche? Like, did you set out to be the
I know what you mean.
World's most famous male ASMR guy? And he was like, I just did whatever, and this stuck, and so I kept doing it. And I'm like, that is good enough.
Yeah.
That's good enough, man. Like, I used to judge that real harshly and be a cunt about it and be like, you're phony. Like, I used to really be like a prick about that kind of stuff. But it's like, dude, you should be so lucky to find the thing, that you want, that works, and then you do it. That's rad. So many of us are doing things barking up the wrong tree. So if you found the right tree, good on you. Like, that's dope, And hopefully he can pivot and turn it into a business and make $1. That'd be great.
Well, I know that he's in the progress of doing that from what I've spoken to him about. You said, like, inventing new colors. Mm-hmm. What are those stories? What stories are you trying to tell?
I'm a formalist. Like, I don't care about... I just wrote this new thing, and I should have sent it to you, but I sent it to a few friends. Savannah, who was most recently on my podcast, was one of them. And I was like, roast this, like, just tear it to shreds. And I got great feedback, and so I've incorporated it. And the feedback consistently is like, I'm confused. People are like, I'm confused. And I like confusion, Like, confusion is electricity for movies. Like, the first time I saw Memento, I was confused. The first time I saw Interstellar, I was like, what? There's certain moments where I'm like, what is happening here? Oppenheimer, like, was a bit confusing narratively, and so I like being challenged. First time I saw Kill Bill is a better example. I was going to say Pulp Fiction. Kill Bill starts off chapter 1, 2, and it's the second person she kills on her list, and you're like, what is going on? Why do you start there? And so that's the criticism I'm getting, is why do you start there? And so I'm a formalist. Like, I don't care about, like, boy meets girl, boy breaks up with girl, girl's transformed. Like, I don't, I care about that, but like in playing with the order, right? So I like finding the form of something first, not just verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, but, intro, chorus, bridge.
Danny Boyle style.
Yeah. I recently watched Sunshine with my family, a movie night, which was a Danny Boyle joint starring Cillian Murphy, who was in Oppenheimer, as once again playing like this estranged scientist guy. And I was like, dude, I forgot how fun these fucking movies are, man. Danny Boyle is like amazing. He's absolutely amazing. And that's the kind of shit, like how you tell it, not what you're telling. Like that's the shit that I like. That's how you make new colors, I think.
So what's your speed?
What does that mean?
You know, are you an F1 like fast in your face with a bunch of different, you know, things that people get, you know, overwhelmed with information, or is it sort of a slow drip, you know, where not all the way telenovela, but like, you know, because you mentioned Marvel movies type stuff, which is more of the F1, like hit you with everything.
I see.
Slide after slide of.
I don't know how to answer that, but I'm not into Drake, but I really like that song, Passion Fruit. I really like it. I like the speed, to answer your question. And it's not like all his other stuff, but, you know, you could get freaky with it. You could get high with it. You feel something. It's kind of emo. I like that. Like, that's my speed. Yeah. I'm not, like, into bars. But, like, I used to be, you know? Like, my first movie, there's like, an 8-minute monologue in there in the first 10 minutes. 8-minute monologue. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. You know, I think it's badass now. People remember me for that. But I was like, that was like me writing bars at the time. And now I'm more like, let's slow down. Yeah, right there. Let's stay in this pocket. You know, like I really like that. And that's hard to make in film. Translate that into cinema. It's kind of hard. Requires a suspension of disbelief, and it requires people's attention. And people have short attention spans now. So like the box, the presentation, the frame really matters. You know, I learned a lot and I grew a lot of levels taking, You Don't Mess Around with Nancy Noble, my
plug,
my short film that I produced and shot and
on Indie
cut.
Darlings YouTube.
Yeah, check it out. And I learned a lot showing it at a short film festival and watching it accompanied with like 40 other short films. And that's when I was like, oh, this is how these movies are meant to be seen. So let's make the next one with that in mind. And that's what I set out to do. You know, that's how you find your speed. You need that feedback loop.
The classic theater environment and the presentation of, I don't know why the movie Juno is coming to my mind right now, but the independent nature of that sort of picture, I feel, doesn't suit itself in like an AMC movie theater.
It did at one point.
No, I mean these
Juno,
days.
I saw Juno in theater.
I mean today, like
there was a movie that came out, and I was like, oh, this is corny as fuck. My daughter, we do movie night every Friday, and it's a staple in my house, and so it was her turn to pick. There was this new movie that came out on Disney Plus, and it was called The Sleepover. And it's The Hangover for little kids. Like, these girls get together, and then they get hypnotized. They wake up. They're like, what happened last night? It's adorable. It's beat for beat The Hangover. It's beat for beat The Hangover. And I was watching it, and I was enjoying it. It was great. It was a good movie. I gave it 3 stars out of 5. Like, it was solid. It was not bad. And I thought, as I was watching it, oh, this movie could never be in a theater today. It was a Disney Plus, like, you know, straight to video, on demand. Or
well, they've always been good at that.
They have. They've cornered that for sure. But like, remember The Sandlot? Like, movies like that?
Yeah.
That movie came out in the theater, you know?
Yeah.
I know it's, like, really before your time, but because I was a young bloke when it came out. But, like, those movies don't exist anymore. So you talking about, like, you know, Juno and AMC nowadays? Couldn't happen. Nowadays, you know, Juno would just go straight to Hulu.
I mean, we have some, well, I mean, let us reminisce a little bit about the old Ritz Theater and decommissioning of the Guard with the, you know, the fact that there's a new art form that's taken the stage there, you know, and we can be funny sometimes. I liked your podcast. It was pretty funny. You know, I think it was unintentionally funny.
Probably.
You know, because it's like.
I'm never intentionally funny.
Sav.
Yeah.
I heard you call her Savannah a few different times.
Yeah.
Then you asked, and, you know, she was like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that topic, though, can be a very incredulous. Is that the right word?
Incredulous?
Incredulous.
Maybe.
It can be like
Claire
controversial.
Claire told me you walked a very thin line, Knives, and I was like, did I? I didn't know I was on a tightrope. Like I told Sav that like I'm ignorant, like I don't know, so you're gonna have to tell me what the language is, you know, and all that. So I just approached it with humility and obliviousness.
Well, I watched too much of the commentary maybe on the other side.
Sure.
Because it can always sneak up on you. I watch the commentary from both sides because I don't feel that identified with the red pill or the blue pill movement, right? So I'm just like, what is going on both sides? And, you know, recently, this is something that you wouldn't follow very much, and maybe somebody that listens does, is the Streamy Awards. The Hassan Piker got the news award, and I think, like, numbers-wise, he's not that guy. And, you know, he is a guy, and he is big, but, like, the competition wasn't, you know, like Ben Shapiro versus Hassan, you know?
You think it should have been?
I think if it was a true competition, the people who get the largest audiences should be stacked up against each other. Alex Jones should have been in the running for it.
He's not on YouTube. Isn't the Streamy's YouTube?
No, that's Twitch. He's Twitch.
Streamy's is Twitch.
It's whatever.
It's whatever?
Yeah, it could be Rumble. It could be whatever it wants. But because it's politically biased, it's just whatever the blue pillars say.
Everybody's fucking politically biased.
Well, that's the argument, right? That's why you walked a fine line. Because you might have been too... Well, ironically, she's like, you know, a more masculine lesbian. Or she didn't call herself a lesbian. She called herself bisexual, right? They're at that podcast. So, you know, she presents herself more masculine. So maybe she is more red pilled. And that was my joke to you. It's like, you got the red pill girl that's actually blue pilled. You know, it's like, so like the fine line is like how red pilled, how blue pilled are they? And especially within that circumstance where she's more the top than the bottom, you know, I think you're in a safe place. You know what I mean? But if you were more talking to, you know, someone that's more of a bottom, maybe that might not have been the case.
Not for me to say.
I don't know.
Not for me to say. It's
interesting to contemplate.
One way or another. Like, I just really led with empathy and love and care. Like, I did this podcast before Savannah with this woman. Gosh, I'm not going to get her name right, but it was Sadi. Her name was Sadi. And she, at the end of the pod, was like, this is the best interview I've ever done, and like, thank you so much. And like, I liked how you asked permission before you asked like a tough question, and you made me feel really safe. And I was just like, I'm not trying to do like that, you know, but that's cool. Like, I think I've just been doing it for a long time. I got to get her full name. I'm sorry, it's killing me. But Sadi's her last name. She's Greek. My shit's not working, but I got no service here, bruv.
Hand it on over.
What, you got like a Wi-Fi?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. You cut that. You can cut that if you want.
That doesn't really matter.
Yeah. But I think her name's Kelly Sadi. I feel like I'm not getting that right. And I feel so bad that I don't remember. Thanks, bruv. I just want to get her name. Yeah, Kelly Sadi. Amazing. And we had a great conversation, and I'm booked to do one tomorrow. Someone submitted their short film, and as of right now, I haven't seen it. So I'm a bad dad. I need to watch this short film before I talk to this dude. He's from Ireland, so it's like at 7 a.m. or something. Like, it's crazy. So, but yeah, you know, I just really lead with empathy and care, and I'm gonna say something that if people wanted to give me shit, they'll give me shit for this. But I know how to talk to women. You know what I mean? I know how to talk to women. Like, I grew up with nothing but women, and I probably feel safer around them than I do men. And I'm working on that because I'm a man, and I need to tap into the wild savage.
Well, that's
that
not
I am.
necessarily what that is.
I think so. I think it is.
You think it's only women?
Oh, just because I've had I've had incredible breakthroughs on the pod with women.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I think they don't expect that from the way I present, right? Like they don't expect radical empathy or something.
Well, what I mean more or less is like, there's this question going around to a lot of heterosexual men and heterosexual women about like their how they swing, with is it really the gender or is it the affinity to the personality? So like, if why do men go to like just drop everything in America and go to the Philippines? Is it because
Is that a trope?
it's a trend?
Okay.
It's not a, I wouldn't say, it's trending enough to where people say like, if it's not working out here, where do you go? To the Philippines or somewhere else? It's more, cost of living is lower. Apparently the women that are not lady boys are more submissive, but maybe that's what they're going there for. They feel that this culture is adverse to. I think this culture of America is becoming more acceptive of like the twink or the what's the fucking name of it called? There's a name of the effeminate boys. Not boys, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
They used to call them fairies. I think that's like disrespectful now.
Okay.
I feel like that's one of those things that you're not supposed to say. What is the name that?
I think twink is in the lexicon, in the modern lexicon.
Femboy.
Okay.
That's the new term.
Okay. I'll have to take your word on that.
Floated around.
See, if we had a producer, I could fact check that. Hey, femboy, is that the
I mean, you already pulled out your phone once.
Nomenclature. Yeah, just to get a name. I'm not gonna be the producer here, but
yeah,
it's stressful enough to be grilled by you in the hot seat. Just kidding. But yeah, so I every time, I hate doing podcasts until I'm doing one. And then I'm like, oh, I like this. Like, this is such a cool pocket, Maybe I need to do more and hate them less. I've been thinking about that. God, I feel like I'm dick riding Hormozy, and I don't mean to. But I really don't. But, like, he has that quote of the stack of undeniable proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
To show people that you are who you are.
Right, yeah, true.
And I suppose if I have this stack of these podcasts that I make, then I'm a
stan of
I'm a
Hormozy.
podcaster for sure.
I'm a stan.
Yeah.
I think I forget about him.
Mm.
He's easily forgotten because he does.
He's in my feed quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true too. You know what? I posed this question to an associate of ours. I don't want to put this on them. They're going through some relationship issues, and I asked them, are they looking for a more effeminate woman or a more masculine woman because the direction that their life is going in? They want to be more business oriented.
Be really close with this person to ask a question like that.
Well, I'm just open to talking to people about these things. I think I'll ask anybody, but the context was Alex Hormozy, right? So it's like Layla Hormozy is his right hand woman, right? But she has a very masculine presentation. She's very assertive.
Mm.
She's cutthroat businesswoman kind of attitude,
I have never consumed a frame of her content.
Oh, really? No?
Mm-hmm. So I just know her in passing.
Oh, okay. I've consumed a little bit of it.
Okay, so I don't know like how
because it presents like it's super masculine.
Okay.
Just tertiary, you see a bodybuilding woman. That's his. Is
she super yoked?
She's super yoked.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so if it's brushed up against you a little bit, you start to notice that she's not your princess. She's not the blonde-haired dumb bimbo, right? You know what I mean? The trope of that, right? Which is like a lot of rich guys like Hormozy do that.
Yeah.
And their relationship is very unique. I don't know if you've heard of it in the book, if it covers it very much, but they are business partners.
Yeah, I love that.
They didn't go into the relationship in a sexual, or there's sex involved, obviously, but they didn't go in for love. They said, "Hey, this is what we're doing. You know, if you want to go along."
I'm sure there's love.
I think it's, well, they were looking to, like, there was a point at which I'm in their story, and this is so weird because I'm not really that interested in Alex Hormozi's business techniques as much as I'm interested in this story because it's so compelling. The story is that, you know, you meet this life partner that's going to be there with you legitimately and, you know, in the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think a lot of people are turned off by that because they're like, she's too masculine, or she's too, you know, she's not the archetypical wife, right? And so when I listen to her content, I notice that she's not, you know, she's not super masculine. She's as feminine as, you know, any other, you know, woman that does fit the archetype.
Mm-hmm.
But people just don't give her the time to speak. Because she has a raspy voice, she has all these tropes. Because she probably did shoot up some testosterone or HGH or something like that. You know what I mean? So she probably did alter her.
I just did a Jim Halpert
hormones.
Jim Halpert to the camera, like while he Michael Scott's over here. I don't co-sign this, but
well, you don't know. I don't know. I'm speculating.
Sure.
So I'm just saying that everyone's, it's becoming more and more apparent with the internet that it's not as black and white as we used to think it was.
Just because you said that, someone recently told me, someone very close and dear to me, that it is black and white. And that's like a bell that like can't be unrung for me. I think shit is black and white. I think we're being sold that it's this gray gradient, 40, what's it called? 50 Shades of Gray or something. That there's so much nuance.
Well, I'm not colorblind. I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm losing the color in my, you know,
I think,
in my life.
I think like this modern paradigm, like, I think some hippie is selling us that it's not black and white, but I think it is black and white. I think shit is black and white. Like when I think about my family, my mom, my brother, and then my family, you know, my kids.
Well, that's the dangerous part
Shit
about
is
what
black and white.
Your wife is talking about.
Which is what? What's she saying?
That line that, like, if we went back, I said this, like 200 years ago, yeah, Sav's not coming out of the closet. Like, that's not happening. She's going to be ostracized from society. And, you know, that's the black and white. I think you're right. There's something that's kind of like tent poling the society to where, like, things that are artistic and free are allowed to be, but if we made it very regiment, it would be like, you do this is what people tell you to do. You don't do, if you go outside the box, then we throw you in the bin and you get chopped up into smithereens. You know?
I think so.
That's the black and white, right? Because you either do what they tell you to or you don't.
You do what you know is right, or you do what you know is wrong.
Yeah.
That's black and white. And I think for Sav, like, it's weird how she keeps coming up, but
well, it's because your podcast. I mean,
yeah.
Show, yeah.
I think she was going to live an authentic life. And when you make that decision, you cut your former self from that. Like, you cut yourself from it. That's what decision means. Like, scission. The Latin root comes from cut off. Mm-hmm. And I think that's black and white, you know. Just because gender presentation is fluid, that doesn't mean that it's not black and white, you know. But like tolerance is black and white. You either tolerate it or you don't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
you can either move forward with the times or get left behind.
Well, I think that's probably true now. I think that's because of the internet. I think that's because we have access to, like, a global sense of, like, what's going on in China, you know, that we don't want to do. What's going on in Africa that we don't want to do. you know, and we get to gauge and decide societally. But the American identity, I think, is becoming even more, you know, disliked. It's like 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. You know, and people, and it's almost 90% of Americans that don't find pride in being American. It's a super high number, which is astonishing because it suggests that society isn't being operated the way that most Americans would like it to be. Whether it be the 50% that are like, let's go back to Jim Crow times, or the ones that are like, let's go, you know, lose our minds and do ecstasy all the time. The hippies, you know, that are supposedly what you said, like creating this, that are acting as, what's it called, the architect of the matrix of society, you know, and the choice of that red pill, blue pill.
You keep saying red pill, blue pill, and all it does is make me think. I take a blue pill every day.
I take blue pills. I do.
I take blue pills.
Dude, my back hurts. I got to take an Advil, blue pill. You know? I'm feeling indigestion. Got to take a pink pill sometimes. You know? So sometimes it's like, you're like, you know. Sometimes it all depends on how you're feeling. You know, if you're in a situation where I think Sav's in, where you feel better. What makes you feel better? And you succumb to making yourself feel better, or do you fight against it?
How can you live with yourself? And what can you not tolerate?
Well, the Persians couldn't stand, the Greeks and the Persians couldn't stand the oppression, right?
Okay.
So they revolted against each other.
Wow, that's out of nowhere.
Well, I just think that ultimately the Roman Empire kind of rose out of that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
I'll have to take your word for it because I'm not a geo something.
Well, there's something a historian.
Historian.
How are you feeling? What's going on?
I'm just getting blown up.
You're getting blown up.
Yeah.
But you're not in any rush.
I will ask you this: like, what are like 5 things that like you want to get into, for clips and like fun shit?
5 things we want to get into for clips and shit.
Yeah, like I want to make sure that like you're satisfied because I can talk in the weeds all day, but like I'd love to add value to your podcast.
Well, I think the thing that's been most, valuable to both of us is, well, not maybe not you as much, but virtual events have been super big for me. What are you thinking about implementing any virtual events into your life? Like doing your own?
In-person events have been big for me.
Okay, yeah.
In-person events.
That's true.
Networking with humans IRL has been pretty cool. I'm trying to do more of that. If I had to host either a virtual event or a in-person event, I would want to host an in-person event. I still want to. That's on my bucket list. I don't think I can do it this year, but sometime next year I'm gonna host a meetup for Indie Darlings.
Yeah, the in-person events thing is just so expensive.
It is, but if you take a sort of nonprofit approach and get sponsors and people to, there's coffee shops, mom and pop shops, and if you get them in on it and the right person, like, you can probably host something for 2 hours,
Yeah, that kind of goes back to the Austin Life and local days, doing the Joe's Coffee and the Kickbutt Coffee and the stuff like that. That has its place, right? Well, the virtual event thing for me is that I get to meet a lot of people, play the numbers game. That's an Hormozy, whatever.
Tenet.
Yeah, I would say, you want to reach out to as many people as possible. And the in-person stuff is cool because you can build friendships and deep relationships that you wouldn't necessarily get through the virtual event stuff.
I really like disarming people in real life.
Mm-hmm.
HIT has that weekly
The
occurring
creator networking.
creative networking thing.
Yeah.
I always feel like blue balled by it. Like it's just not enough time to network. You know?
That's so hilarious you say that.
Why?
Because
Is that bad? Should I not? You want to cut that?
no. It's hilarious to say that because like I'm like long format podcasting 3 to 4 hours. You're like, what? It's like, yeah, I mean, but if
I'm
you
just
make
not
it to
that
2,
interesting.
if you make it out to 2 hours, you know, of
these
networking,
these 10-minute breakout rooms,
right?
where it's usually revolving around one person, maybe two.
You have
It's
to
just-
get your shit off.
You know, yeah, and like that's kind of antithetical to a networking event.
It's aggressive a little bit.
Well, it's always just the alphas. They get their shit in and then bounce. You know,
Sometimes that's true too.
I don't know. You know, for me,
Kind of makes me
it's
feel like a beta though, because I stick around all the way to the end.
well.
You know,
I get a lot of value out of it, and I'll go to the next one if
Yeah.
if I'm at the house. Like I totally will. It's really cool. I like talking to Corey. Like I need to meet up with him, link up with him offline.
yeah.
And like I've picked his brain, and here we are talking about him again. And his advice is very rudimentary. Like it's very find a thing that you're good at. Start with a hook. Like did you see his like 4-step to success?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was on LinkedIn, and it's just a. I mean this with love, bro. If you watch this, I mean this with love. But it's just a big fat no shit.
Well, that's the thing.
Like have a hook.
Yeah.
Call to action. Like that's not the recipe for success. That's what I would call the bare minimum. Like yeah.
Well, but that's the thing. Everyone is selling, you know, intro to marketing 101.
I'm not talking shit about your steps. You are proof that it works. I'm not dumb. It's just, but like, it's my conundrum is like how do you find your passion when you're lost? How do you find that? That's tricky to solve.
Right.
How do you find the thing that you want to dedicate the rest of the year to? Whoa. Sorry, I have an alarm.
Sav.
Tickled my.
Going back to Sav, I think
Yeah.
her decision to come out is one of those things. You got to shake it up to remember what you love.
Yeah, you have to be your honest self, your authentic self for sure, and you have to try a lot of things and see what sticks. Yeah, I don't want to make it sound like I'm talking shit about Corey. Like it's not like
It doesn't
that.
sound like that at all.
Okay, good, because like I take a lot of value out of him. But like the first, I go to these networking events, and I always end up in a room with him. Like I'm not stalking him.
Yeah.
I always end up in a room with him, and I always pick his brain, and it's like a fast elevator pitch style. Like, how do you find your passion? Go. Like it's hard, you know.
I kind of did that to him the other day.
Yeah.
We were in that big. I don't know if you made it to the big one last Tuesday.
I was in there.
You were there.
Yeah.
So I said to him, you know, introduce yourself and then tell us what your offer is, and then he would go on to about being a content creator, and you know I've been listening to him enough to say that he's starting a business,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, no, what's your business offer?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I pressed him about it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then he's like, oh, you're talking about business, and I'm like, well, yeah, I mean we're talking about offers. What can you do for me that I can't do for myself? Because he actually can do things that I haven't done, like become big on TikTok or, you know, diversify the brand, you know?
I was just about to say one
Yeah.
thing he's really good at is migrating his following from TikTok to YouTube.
Yeah.
There's this guy, I won't say his name because I don't want to put him on blast, and like I guess I like him. I mean, I grew to like him, but this guy came on my radar like 2-3 years ago, and I was like, fuck this guy. Because he's a kid, you know, he's like this 19-year-old life coach, right?
Right.
And has 250,000 followers on TikTok, and then has 200 or like 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So he hasn't brought them over, and YouTube's the end game, in my opinion. So Corey has done that. He's brought them over, and he's crushing it, you know, and. Yeah, I respect him. You know, like he's got a lot of value. His business offer, you know, like he's figuring that out. He's more mature on his content creating side than he is on his business side. So like, let him grow, and he's gonna be a killer.
So we're running up on an hour here.
Yeah.
What else would I want to talk about as far as like clips go? I'm not really gonna clip any of this. I'll probably
Okay.
just
So
put it
what
up,
what can I do for you? Like, to make this incredible podcast for you.
Well, I appreciate just coming out and talking to you and testing this out and just like learning more, because I'm just starting to recognize like the more things that I want to change. And
Like, what are 3 things you want to change?
well, some things I already knew, like the Stream Deck situation and switching and making sure that you get your headshots and that the clips are, of you and it's not this wide shot and different things. The other things that I've learned is that this is a lot more challenging than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I could have my hand right here, but then I don't know.
It's hard to be present.
It just feels awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And then one thing that I already thought about was that I'd like to have like 2 large screens, one behind me, one behind you, so that like, let's say, a clip or something like that, or even this is sort of interesting. We could look over here and we'll watch your video after this, and we'll watch it together. We'll have the speakers and everything up. There's just so many things that I want it to be kind of like a vibe. You have vibey. A good time.
It's vibey.
Right?
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, I think it's really great. It reminds me of the old where I started.
Yeah.
But I know that it could be a lot better, because it's just where you start and where you could be are all based on what you learn along the way.
Absolutely.
If you don't risk it, risk is reward. That's what they say. So what risks are you taking?
I took the big risk last year, November, quitting my full-time job.
Right, yeah.
And going all in on my business, which has been scary. And I'm taking a risk right now doing free work on spec.
Yeah.
Giving more value in the marketplace than anybody else. And it's not just like, here's a free video. It's like, here's a free banger 2-minute video. Here's 10 reels. Here's 20 photographs. Here's a 60-second teaser. Here's a 30-second teaser. You're welcome. Like, that is insane amount of value. Like, insane.
Yeah.
With nothing in return. With no expectation. Like, that is jumping out the airplane.
Without the parachute.
Without...
well, you have...
Without the cutaway. Like, you just got the one parachute.
There you go. Yeah,
yeah. And so, like, it's really scary. But it's rad at the same time. And, I picked up the sword again. And let's fucking go. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, I'm taking a lot of risks. And they might not pay off in time, but I know they'll pay off in the grand scheme of things. That I trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just there might be some crazy suffering beforehand, which I'm no stranger to.
What are you a fanatic about? I know you talked about Alex Ramosi a lot, but like maybe like
I sure did. Yeah, a little too much maybe. What am I a fanatic about? Believe it or not, sales.
No.
Yeah, like this was
so the
year.
AEWs and the WWEs and all of that is not in your life as much anymore.
Well, it's funny. So AEW had a pay-per-view on Sunday, which I watched with some of my boys, and it was the largest paid attendance in history. AEW, larger than WWE, than their WrestleManias. 81,305 people paid. And it was cool to watch, like this super ultra mega indie show. Like, it was super cool to watch it. And then my guy, CM Punk, got into a backstage fight and he's suspended. So a part of me is just like, dude, I can't keep doing this. Like, it's bullshit, like it's bullshit, this fucking sport. So like, I wouldn't say I'm a fanatic about it. Like, it's just so frustrating to be a CM Punk fan. And ultimately, above pro wrestling, I'm a CM Punk fan. Whatever he does, whatever he fucking does, like, I'm there for that. But no, sales, man. Like, I've been doing so much cold outreach. I purchased a $5,000 course on videography sales, and I'm committed to that. Like, I put my money where my mouth was. Money that I had no business spending, that should have went to my mortgage. I spent on a course. And that's a big risk as well. And so I'm still waiting for that to pay off. I don't mind saying it. So, yeah, sales, man, has been cold outreach and warming up leads, cold leads to engage leads and all that. Like, yeah, I wake up and I think about it, So I would say I'm a fanatic about that right now. And I know it will pay off in time. It is a numbers game.
You should be, though. I mean, that if you're running a business, you should be focused on getting as many touch points with the potential avatar.
I'm trying. Videography is a hard thing to scale, dude. Like,
I mean, yeah.
It's a hard thing to scale. Like, it's a hard, and what's hard about it is you're a business and then you buy 30 pieces of content. There's no guarantee that shit's going to convert and like change your business. It's not a guarantee. No matter how strong the strategy is beforehand, there's still a lot of testing that goes involved. Like maybe you should have made an ad. There's so much that goes into it. So I'm not for buying content for content's sake, like I just want to post on Instagram. Like, no, like why do you want to post on Instagram? For what? And like, what are you hoping to achieve? What do you want to sell? Like, those are the conversations that I'm having with businesses. And it's a difficult, almost fugazi thing. And so, like that's the challenge right now is I'm not saying I don't believe in it because I do, but it's just like, it's easy to see a client who's bleeding and knowing where to put the tourniquet, content wise. Oh man, they're doing events, but they're not promoting these events. So they need visual assets to promote their events. I can help with that. Oh, there he is. Yeah, so like the strategy side, like making that valuable, it's still a difficult sell, man. And then getting in front of people that know me, like me, and trust me, warming them up, like it's a difficult thing. But it's something that I'm committed to, and I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm thinking about it. So I'm pretty obsessive about that right now. Sales. I'm trying to make my offer the most compelling that it can be and mitigate and lower the risk margin to zero.
Yeah.
Just get to a point where I can say, hey, you just show up, you just say yes, I do the rest. Who's going to fucking say no to that? Who would say no to that?
So how far along are you on creating that sizzle reel portfolio that you are building this free work on?
I'm still building it. I'm still doing free work. I'm trying to get as much diversity to make it like as compelling as possible. I would say I need another like 3 months.
You have one.
I have an okay one.
You have an okay one, right?
It's all right.
And
it hasn't like converted, man.
So like taking another one of our associates, he has a niche that's very specific.
I know who you're talking about.
And well, actually two of them, the other one being, off the radar, at least for me, for a long time. But
I know who you're talking about.
Why? A lot of that.
This goes back to Corey. He found his niche.
Yeah,
it found him. Yeah. And then he knew, I'm going to triple down on that. Okay, now it sounds like I'm being a dick. I love Corey. It's not like that. But like he knew, I didn't have to do the voice. Sorry. But he knew that like, I'm going to triple down on this, right? Yeah. No shit. Like if something's working, keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's a good strategy. It's common sense.
Yeah.
Even I've been stupid and like stopped spinning the wheel. But so I'm still trying to find it. Like I know it's events, but like what kind of events? Like you have to really find a subcategory in the niche. And so I'm trying to figure that out, as well as be as a content creator on YouTube. And so there's a lot of like, it's not, I can't put it all on one thing. Like there's our Instagram, there's an Instagram strategy. There's LinkedIn, there's a LinkedIn strategy. There's YouTube, there's a YouTube strategy. There's the work that I want to make, for events. Like it's hard, so I wish it was all one uniform thing. But as an entrepreneur, like you have to get comfortable in like really spreading yourself thin, and doing multiple things.
Yeah, but it all kind of comes back down to like you're meant to make movies. You're an artist. And everything else is second to that. Do you know what I mean?
Movies are sunk costs.
It's true, but the thing.
Period. So, like, yeah, I build boats that fucking sink. That's what being a filmmaker is.
Well, then second to that is the commercial game.
And I'm not super interested in that because there are people who are like made for it that I just respect way too much that like I don't do that. That's why my business, I've thought about, you have multiple businesses, LLCs or whatever, like indie darlings, like at the end of the day, like I am an indie darling, there's that movie component to it there where I can produce films. Mm-hmm. And then there's it's just me and Claire side of it when it comes to business. Like this is just us two doing these things. We're not a group of 35 people, but
well, even if you were just doing like, the game is UGC content, but that's second to these studios that have a robot arm that make these crazy cereal commercials and stuff like that, product videos.
I know.
Yeah.
Above all, man, if I had to choose between a movie career, and a YouTube career, guess which one I'd choose.
Well, you better start being a lot more personal with people on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Just because.
And you let your kids grow up without getting them on camera.
Yeah. And you're welcome. You're welcome. I never fucking exploited my dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a friend who's like, dude, why don't you make vlogs with your dogs? And I'm like, that's not interesting to me. I don't care if it would kill.
It's part of the game, but if it's not interesting to you, then you don't have your heart into it.
I love my dogs.
Into the content.
I love them, but like to be like, my dog got stuck in the mud. What? And like make a YouTube video about that? Get the fuck out of here. Like I'm not interested in that.
Irony is that that's very correlated to
I know.
Corey putting out a 4-point thing of no duh.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man,
but that's Hormozy too. Like Hormozy is everything he's giving away for free is stuff that if you didn't take the 101 class, and then the 201 is, his M&A program. Like if you got it like that, then you're in acquisition.com. You got a company that does $1 million or more in gross revenue.
Right. I'll get there.
Yeah. And then I don't know why you would get acquired though. So, I mean, at that point it's like, well,
maybe not
whatever.
Maybe, who knows, man? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying I would sell it, but like, I would love to make $1 million in revenue.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, that means you have it like that.
That also means that like your YouTube pops.
Right.
Right.
If you're on YouTube and you're a YouTube content creator.
Yeah, man. Like, did you see Jimmy's tweet about like, hey, this is killing me mentally? Like, I can't keep doing this weekly, but like, I'm doing it weekly for like the next 3 months. And so just so you know, it's killing me.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear it.
That cry for help type thing.
Yeah.
I appreciate him so much for saying that. That's badass.
Well, he's like he's also lost a bunch of weight and got super big into fitness and stuff like that. So
it's necessary.
Yeah, I think so. But
it's necessary.
It's
at that elite level, and especially with his what does he have? Not gout.
I don't know.
He has not diverticulitis. It's a gut thing.
Crohn's disease.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, I think that when I do YouTube, I like the live streaming thing.
I know you do.
I'm not sure what vlog even looks like. Like, I don't even know what stories to tell about my life that people will care about. And it should be so basic, but it's also like, ooh, yuck, that looks ugly to me. Like
studio tour.
How do I change this? Oh yeah. Studio tours. I do those things on Instagram and stuff like that, short stories. But I feel like I need to change that idea because I think that this is just like, I feel the hate come from both directions.
Hate?
Those that don't, the hate of the people that don't have it, and I feel bad about that. I feel the bad sense of privilege, the bad sense of like deserving.
Some fucking hippie sold you that shit.
Then the opposite side of like, the hate of like it's not good and it's not as good as someone who has it all.
People that are fucking doing better than you don't hate you. They're not a hater. They're more likely to reach their hand out and pick you up to the next level. It's the people at the fucking
From my experience,
bottom.
I've gotten snakes that are ahead of me that are that don't want me to take share of their, whatever it is. They
might have got a whiff of something that you're not.
Yeah.
A scam or a spam
possible.
or something weird. Like
Possible.
they might have gotten a whiff of something.
They have a feeling.
They have a feeling because other people that maybe share your silhouette, have tried to take from them. So they probably thought you were a taker or something like that.
Maybe.
It's possible.
But then I hear about the bad story, the horror stories of people dealing with those people and that, that those people are prima donnas. The ones that have it all, that made it to where they needed to be, and that they just like kind of just treat people that are coming up poorly. That's just the way that they are.
Yeah, I don't think that's the majority, man.
I don't know.
Look at Rogan. All this guy does is put people over.
Very selective, but yeah.
Very selective. I mean, he's put a whole community over.
Oh, you mean in the comedy community?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he's very specific to that. But I don't think he's going around.
Well, that's what he is first and foremost.
Yeah, your community. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he seems, I don't know him, but he seems like a very giving person.
Yeah. I would hope so if you met the guy and he's not just like,
I'll meet him one day and I'll let you know.
Yeah, negative about things.
I'll meet him one day.
I have, reason to believe you've already met him.
I have not. I have not.
But
I would tell you if I did.
Yeah, I mean, you were always in a position to be in conversations with people like him.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. What do you think is going to be the next big trend?
Right now, the
NPC thing.
No, I mean that is a trend, but like the big trend, there's a meme that like, oh, the crypto guys became AI guys.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that is true. Like we're in that pocket still.
Yeah, there's none new. There's the AI thing is still people are a little bit tired of it. I know a lot of people who are like really tired of it, but it's still the latest technology that everybody needs for their business.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a business that doesn't have that implementation in their business is going to fall behind.
So I know it's still bleeding edge, but it's probably not like an upcoming trend. I'm going to quote Gary here. Like, I'm not Nostradamus. Like, I don't predict shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the next trend is. I really don't know what 2024 looks like.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I hope to be killing it.
Right. What do you think of, well, you're not a big man in politics or anything like that.
No.
You didn't watch the debate?
Fuck no. I don't even know what there was a debate on.
The Republican debate.
Oh, so this shit, we're in full swing?
No.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay.
I mean, Trump didn't show up because he doesn't. Why should he have to?
I don't know, man.
He's already the bigger dude of all of that.
I don't know, man.
Nauseating to you?
I don't care. Like, I'm not going to say it doesn't affect my life. It does a minuscule amount, but like, it's not really going to affect my day to day.
Yeah.
I won't let it. And all the discourse more so that comes with it. The discourse is such a bloody distraction. Like, I don't participate in that. Like, there's a life to live right now. Like, I'm not going to spend it fucking participating in this conversation.
I think that, I think just talking about it in general is that, like, people want to think that it could be ignored and that everything that's done government-wise is supposed to be procedure and policy. But the largest component of it is showmanship, statesmanship.
Dude, we all know. We all know what this shit is, man. It's a fucking pony show. Like, it's puppet shit. Like, it's fucking Santa Claus shit. Like, I don't give a fuck about it. I really don't.
Yeah.
Sorry for sandbagging. Like, that's not, you're supposed to yes and on a podcast, I know. But when it comes to politics, like, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy, pal.
Yeah, I mean, but I just see it as like another form of entertainment.
Ew. Ew.
So like you have your UFC, you have your politics, you have
I'm sure.
your professional wrestling, your sports ball.
Yeah.
Any sports ball for you? No.
I don't know what that is.
No football, no soccer,
Oh.
baseball, nothing like that.
Mm-mm. Sorry.
Me, not as much either. When I was younger, it was all about the football. You know, I was like Madden every year, played the game. You know, I don't know how much of anything I care about that much anymore. Like this is another thing. All our heroes get destroyed. I don't even know if kids have heroes these days. Cuz you're told like, "Oh, that's not really a hero." Every day. What does your son? Does your son have heroes?
I'm going to ask him.
You know, I heard this. I heard someone
He'll
say
probably
that
say, huh?
heroes don't have guns.
No.
Like superheroes don't have guns. I was like, that's not true.
Iron Man is a gun.
Plenty of superheroes have guns.
Captain America killed Nazis. Shot him in the face.
Yeah, he had a gun too.
He had a gun.
Deadshot, Deadpool,
War Machine.
War Machine. Like plenty of superheroes had guns.
Yeah.
You know, to tell a kid that shot himself in the foot, or whatever. That's so stupid. You know, superheroes have capes too. You know, we can be on our cape shit.
Not all of them though.
Not all of them, right?
Yeah.
Not all of them have guns. Some of them do.
Some of them fucking do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other shit? You got the superhero shit. We got the politics shit. Book shit? I don't know, your business books. But any narrative stuff?
Not narrative stuff, but I still haven't finished. What's his name? Rick Rubin? I haven't finished his book. It's called like The Creative Act or something like that.
Is Rick Rubin the producer.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I just think it's like a little too chill. Like, 'cause I'm listening to it, and he's reading it.
Did you know he's not a musician?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that until I saw like a podcast of him or something like
Sure.
that, interview or whatever.
Not a musician.
He just sits in the room and vibes out and tells them whether it's good or not.
You need that. You need
Unbelievable. And gets paid.
that. You need that. I mean, it sounds easy, right?
It sounds so easy.
But I mean, he's a 10th degree black belt in his taste.
Sits Indian style in the room.
I like to say crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce.
Yeah.
You know, I have a little Native American, so I can say Indian style if I would like to.
I'm not comfortable with this.
You have Native American too.
I do.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm not comfortable with it.
Quite a large amount too. And you couldn't tell. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Spaniard blood is very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spaniard, is that the right word? Yeah, it is.
Sure, why
Spanish.
not? Spanish.
Yeah, it's very strong.
Yeah. What other things are there? See, because one of the things is as a consumer, mine is like, once I'm done, like I put it all into LinkedIn during the day. I'm like sitting there not doing anything, but my eyeballs are on it, just studying the game. Like, why do people put these posts out? You know, why? What's working? What's not working?
I got something. I don't have an answer to that, but I got like the thing. And this is what I'm going to ask Corey tomorrow if I get to talk to him. I'll ask everybody. Yeah, you fucking find a neat... who gives a shit? Hook. Call to action. Like, yeah. How do you get attention is the fucking question.
On LinkedIn?
Every platform. Any platform.
Well, LinkedIn's actually very specific.
Attention?
It's very specific. You ever get the posts in your feed where it's like altruistic?
Yeah.
Those are the most engaging posts.
The most engaging posts are 10 things I wish I knew 1 year ago when I quit my 9 to 5.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's an altruistic post.
Yes. And
or if you put
you have to have like
a dog like a dog that's injured and you're petting the dog and you're what is it called? Your virtue signaling works really well on LinkedIn.
I'll have to take your word for that. I don't. Well, yeah, I do see it. Yeah, sure. But that's again the form. How do you get attention? That's fucking hard. That's what what's his name?
So the tools, right?
The
tools
dude-
are it.
What's
the tools.
You talk about him all the time. He's like your Alex Hormozy.
My Alex Ramosi, I talk about him all the time.
Tate.
Oh, Andrew Tate. I talk about Andrew
You
Tate all the
do.
time.
You do. Yeah.
I don't really.
Maybe not all the time, but
Yeah.
you know,
I do talk about him though.
you're the only guy I know that talks about him. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And Tate gets attention. Gary gets attention. Hormozy's in the pocket right now, in the zeitgeist, gets the attention. How do you get attention?
Well, so a big part of it is the tools. And using the tools. You can't sit there and look at it and not put out a piece of content.
I think it's the other way around. I think once you've done the thing, then you can make content about it.
Well, yeah, there's that. I've talked about it as well. Is like you make something that's undeniable, and then you talk about why is it undeniable? The why, right? And you came to me when we first met asking you what the why is. And there was something I was thinking about that the other day about something about that. I can't remember what it was, but like, who gives a shit? Like, why could be I want to be famous, or why could be I want to feed my family. You know, all these whys, but it only matters, you know, the other person's why they want to give you something, why they want to give you attention.
Simon Sinek says people don't buy what you sell.
Yeah.
They buy why you sell it.
He says it. He does.
But I do think there's some truth to it. I heard that TED Talk 12, 13 years ago, man, like a long time ago.
I just wonder what someone else's why they give it to me. Do they feel bad for me? Do they feel sorry for me? Do they think that, you know, that it's an added?
I'm gonna have to split in a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, let's finish this thread.
Well, that's what is someone else's why they want to give you attention. Okay, so you're present when they're looking for an answer.
Mm-hmm.
And that answer can be entertainment, it can be education, it could be anything. But of course, a big component is do big shit, and then make little shit about what makes that big shit undeniable. For you, well, not just for you, but for anyone, you don't want to confuse your algorithm, especially on LinkedIn, because it's one train of thought. You confuse people if you say you're a filmmaker, when in reality the business that you're trying to get is event videographer. So you need to very much focus on, and this is where it's very difficult, because unless you produce someone's comedy show, or you produce a big music festival, or you do something of large scale, produce somebody's podcast, you don't have much to talk about as far as the deconstruction component. Dakota's, but we've talked about it before, and you've said that's you don't want to make it about that. Your brand about that.
No, that doesn't have legs, in my opinion.
But anyone's attention is what you've said. Like, it's a deconstruction process. So what is the biggest thing you've accomplished?
No, you're thinking about. Oh, okay. Keep going.
Yeah, what is the biggest thing you've accomplished, and deconstructing how you did it? But the attention component is still creating the content.
You know what it is? It's people want to catch big fish.
They want to catch big fish, that's true.
And so people want to learn how to catch big fish from people who catch big fish.
Yeah.
From people who are catching big fish.
That's true.
If you can document you catching big fish, or if you have a stack of undeniable proof of, like, here's the big fish I've caught.
Yeah.
Then you can add something valuable in the marketplace, right?
Ironically, Hormozy doesn't make clear the big fish that he's catching. He just says he's catching big fish.
Well, acquisition.com is like his whole thing right
But
now.
there's no testimonials.
I'm sure. I don't know. I haven't dived into like,
That's the thing.
that kind of stuff.
You don't even have to. You believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Even without the testimonials or
Mm-hmm.
the proof of work. He's selling, I did gym launch. I
Mm-hmm.
sold gym launch.
Mm-hmm.
That's the acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
You know about that. Everybody knows about that. I may not have done it again, but I did it one time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you need to do for the deconstruction component.
Well, he caught a big
Not to say there's
fish.
not stuff going on,
I know.
because now there's NDAs, all that shit.
Yeah. But he's caught quite a large amount of big fish. Big fish.
Well, if you make a big YouTube, that's a big fish.
There's that one too. So, but you know, just like business wise, to strip all the 5 years ago, all the content that he's made, fuck all that. You know, he was already a millionaire, you know,
Oh, wait. What do you mean? Before gym launch?
before his YouTube and podcast. Maybe I got my chronological shit mixed up, but
Well, he was sort of in it the whole time.
okay, I'll have to. Okay, if you say so.
Yeah.
I had.
He's in it like you the whole time.
Okay,
You know what you haven't done in a long time?
tell me.
Walk and vlog.
Who? I mean, is that?
That's what Hormozy did. Hormozy literally...
Do people want to see that?
Well, he documented it. Like his...
I would only do
whole-
that with like a snorri cam.
The journey thing. A snore cam?
A snorri cam. Yeah.
What is that?
You know, people that have like the pack, and then they have like the camera that's like stuck on them, and so when they move, it goes in that direction. I've seen
Oh,
that
like
effect.
a turtle backpack thing.
Whatever you want to call it.
Turtle
But,
rig or whatever.
They're called easy rigs.
Easy rig, yeah.
But no, I mean it's a snorri cam where it's mounted. The camera's mounted on you.
yeah.
Anywho, that's the only way I would do like a walk and talk. But or unless there was people following me, which is like egregious and all that. But at any rate, like getting attention, I need to focus my attention on that and my intention on that, because that's what YouTube is. You can make dope shit. It doesn't fucking matter if you don't package it and present it in a way that gets the attention.
Yeah.
The video has to be good. That's one thing Jimmy has proven. Like,
Yeah.
it has to be the best video that it can
Yeah.
be. But the packaging. And so, like, what Corey did and Josh, I keep bringing them up, and that's been the recurring theme of this bloody pod,
And Alex Hormozy.
and Hormozy, is they got the attention.
Yeah.
What they do with it? Well, they start becoming teachers, coaches. Let me show you how I do what I do. Well, it's great how you do what you do. But how'd you get the attention? Sell that. Can you? How'd you catch the big fish? Sell that. Teach us, man, how to fish. That's the attention right there. That's why we listen. I don't give a fuck about the ASMR, truthfully.
Well, I have an idea for that. I do have an idea for that, but you need the accolade.
Who, me, or you mean in general?
Anyone.
What is it?
You need the validation. You need somebody to say, we saw you catch that big fish. Here's the picture of you catching the big fish. You know,
I think that's one way to do it, not the only way.
I haven't seen it done any other way.
So, like, there's this YouTuber, and we got to wrap up here. There's this YouTuber who, her name's Life of Riza.
Every YouTuber shows the plaque.
They do. She had been making videos for years. This year, she upped the quantity. Her videos are very high production.
Mm-hmm.
And they're Matt D'Avella kind of style, like, I did this for 30 days type of videos. And one finally just took off.
Nice. Oh,
And
yeah,
then
you told me.
And then she blew up, got 200,000 subs overnight.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, like, what was the big fish? She didn't say, like, how I bought this thing or sold
Well,
this
let's leave
thing.
everybody on a cliffhanger. One last thing. I watch a lot of Twitch. You don't watch a lot of Twitch.
No.
There's not much to talk about there. What do you have to say before we roll out? Camera's on you. This is like Hot Ones.
Yeah. Sell something nice.
One camera. One camera.
Yeah. You're a very giving video producer. You're a very giving content creator. And everything that you do in the space, I think if something counts against you, is that you're too ahead of your time. You're so early, often. You're often very fucking early. And I think you're early with this too. And I would just tell you to stay the course and continue the path and don't give up. And if you build it, they will come. And so you built this and I came, and I'm me and I got a family and I got mouths to feed, and it's Wednesday, and Wednesdays are busy days for me and all that. But I came, and I had to. So I won't be the only one, man. So just keep it open, keep it available, keep the lights on, and I want to watch you grow and surpass me.
What's your hook?
My hook?
Yeah, what's where do people go to book you for?
Sure. So visit Instagram, go to @IndieDarlings, or Indie Darlings on YouTube if you're into that. @Knives Monroe on everything else.
And that's it. Knives Monroe. The
Love
man,
you,
the myth, the legend.